For the first time in recorded history, the galaxy did something no one thought was possible. It sent a distress signal to humanity, not because humans were the strongest, not because humans had the biggest fleet, but because every civilization that had once feared them had already failed. The emergency transmission reached Earth at exactly 3:17 Coordinated Universal Time. It wasn't encrypted. It wasn't diplomatic. It wasn't even addressed to the human government. It was broadcast openly, across every frequency in the galaxy. Only one sentence appeared: the human war ban is officially revoked. Please, save us. For 500 years, those 6 words had been impossible. Now, they were the galaxy's last hope. Across billions of worlds, no one breathed. Alien children stared at public screens. Old veterans lowered their heads. Politicians who had spent centuries calling humanity too dangerous quietly walked out of their chambers. Because everyone remembered the last day humans fought. No one wanted to see that day repeated. But everyone knew they had no other choice. Then, something happened that terrified the galaxy even more. Earth didn't answer. 1 minute passed. 5 minutes. 10 minutes. The human government remained completely silent. Across the Senate, panic erupted. They're refusing. We waited too long. We condemned ourselves. An elderly senator slowly closed his eyes. If humanity says no, there won't be a galaxy left to regret it. 43 minutes later, Earth finally transmitted a reply. Every screen in the galaxy lit up. The message contained only one sentence. Before humanity answers, a pause. You deserve to know why you banned us. Silence. Absolute silence. Because almost no one alive actually knew. The human war ban had become history, without anyone remembering the reason. 500 years earlier, the galaxy had burned, not because humanity started the war, because humanity ended it. The conflict had lasted 112 years, 32 empires, 9 trillion soldiers, entire constellations erased from existence. Every peace treaty failed, every alliance collapsed, every new weapon only created another war. Until humanity entered, the war ended, exactly 7 days later. No one ever discovered how. Human battle records had remained classified for 5 centuries. The only surviving fact was the final casualty report. Human military deaths, 11,482. Enemy military deaths, 0. The number appeared on the Senate screen. Delegates stared in disbelief. One young representative whispered, "That can't be right." Another slowly shook his head. If they didn't kill the enemy, how did they end the largest war in history? No one answered, because that question was the real reason humanity had been banned. Deep beneath the Sea of Tranquility on Luna, a blast door larger than a mountain began to move. Its steel surface carried one inscription. Guardian Command. Dust drifted through the ancient chamber. Lights that had slept for 5 centuries awakened one by one. Thousands of human officers stood in perfect silence. None looked excited. None applauded. They had all hoped this day would never come. An old commander stepped forward. Commander Adrian Vale. His silver hair reflected the cold blue lights of the vault. A young lieutenant looked at him. "Sir, after 500 years, do we finally tell them what really happened?" Vale remained silent for several seconds. Then he looked toward the stars projected above the command hall. His answer sent chills through every soldier present. "No." Another long pause. First, he slowly put on the same uniform he had worn 5 centuries ago. "We saved them, in millions of light years away. Something ancient, something older than the first galaxy, stopped consuming stars. It had finally sensed the one civilization it had been waiting to meet. Something ancient, something older than the first galaxy, stopped consuming stars. For billions of years, nothing had ever interrupted its hunt. Not fleets, not superweapons, not entire civilizations. Yet the moment humanity reopened Guardian Command, it paused, almost as if it recognized the name. Across the Galactic Senate, no one understood why Earth's response had frightened the stars themselves. The High Chancellor finally broke the silence. "Ambassador Elena, what happened 500 years ago?" The human ambassador looked around the chamber. For the first time, there was no anger in her eyes. Only sadness. You think humanity was banned because we were too violent? She slowly shook her head. No, we were banned because we proved war itself had become obsolete. The chamber fell completely silent. Every senator stared in disbelief. One admiral stood up. Impossible. If humans never destroyed our fleets, then how did the last galactic war end in 7 days? Elena touched the holographic table. The room transformed. An ancient battlefield appeared. Thousands of fleets. Millions of ships. The largest war ever recorded. Then, every weapon froze. Every battleship powered down. Every missile stopped in space. Not because they had been hacked. Not because they had been destroyed. Because every military AI in the galaxy had received the same impossible command. War objective no longer exists. Gasps echoed across the Senate. An elderly senator whispered, I remember hearing rumors. The human algorithm. Elena nodded. Project Aegis. No one had spoken that name. For 5 centuries, it wasn't designed to win wars. It was designed to make wars impossible. The hologram changed again. Human engineers, alien scientists, captured enemy officers, all working together, not building a weapon, building a decision. Project Aegis didn't attack ships. It attacked hatred. It analyzed every conflict in real time. Every lie, every misunderstanding, every hidden manipulation. Within seconds, it exposed the truth to every soldier on every side. Commanders discovered they had been deceived. Alliances realized they had been manipulated. Entire armies laid down their weapons. Because they finally understood, they had never been enemies. 7 days later, the largest war in history ended. Without a final battle. The youngest senator stood in shock. So, you didn't defeat the galaxy. Elena answered quietly. No, we healed it. Another silence followed. Then her expression darkened. And that's exactly why you banned us. The High Chancellor lowered his head. We were afraid. Elena nodded. You weren't afraid of human soldiers. You were afraid that no civilization would ever need armies again. No one argued. Because deep inside, every senator knew she was right. The military industries, the ruling empires, the powerful alliances, everything they had built, would have become meaningless. So they buried Project Aegis, erased human military history, and called humanity too dangerous. At that exact moment, every light inside the Senate chamber went out. Not one by one, all at once. Emergency systems failed, quantum communications died, even gravity fluctuated for a heartbeat. Then, a single transmission appeared. It wasn't sent from any known ship. It wasn't translated by any computer. Yet every species understood it instantly. Your wars entertained you. A pause. Asterisk asterisk. Your mercy. Another pause. Longer this time. Quote. Interests me. Across the chamber, veteran admirals froze. Scientists forgot to breathe. Even the human ambassador looked genuinely surprised. Because humanity had never received a message like this before. Deep beneath Luna. Commander Adrian Vale watched the same transmission appear above Guardian Command. He didn't ask where it came from. He already knew. He slowly opened a sealed archive that had remained locked for 5 centuries. Inside, there was only one classified sentence. Written by the founder of Project Aegis. If the Watcher ever answers. Vale's hands tightened. He finished reading the final line. Quote. Humanity has already passed the first test. Every officer on the bridge looked toward him. One young lieutenant whispered, Sir. What is the Watcher? Commander Vale looked toward the stars. His face had gone pale. Then he spoke the words that no human had been allowed to hear for 500 years. Asterisk asterisk. The reason. He paused. We were never preparing for another war. A slow breath. We were preparing for first contact. We were preparing for first contact. No one on the bridge spoke. Not because they were confused. Because every human officer knew one terrifying fact. Commander Adrian Vale had just revealed a secret that had remained hidden. For 500 years, outside, 3,000 human warships accelerated toward the collapsing frontier. Inside every bridge, a sealed file unlocked automatically. Its title appeared in crimson letters. Project Aegis. Final directive. Below it, only one sentence. If the Watcher speaks, humanity is no longer alone. A cold silence spread across the fleet, far beyond the last known galaxy. The darkness wasn't moving anymore. It was watching. Across its surface, entire constellations reflected like ripples on black water. Then, millions of stars vanished simultaneously. Not destroyed, hidden, as though something unimaginably large had just opened its eyes, back inside the Galactic Senate. Panic exploded. Scientists shouted over one another. The signal came from outside observable space. That's impossible. It bypassed quantum communication. It ignored every law of physics. The High Chancellor slowly looked toward Ambassador Elena Ross. You knew this could happen. Elena answered quietly. No, we only knew. One day, it would. She touched another classified archive. The Senate hologram transformed. A recording appeared, dated 512 years earlier. A young human scientist stood before Earth's leaders. His name was Professor Elias Rowan, the father of Project Aegis. His first words silenced the chamber. Ladies and gentlemen, war is not humanity's greatest discovery. He paused. Curiosity is. The recording continued. For 20 years, we've been decoding patterns hidden inside gravity. Not equations, messages. The senators looked at one another. Gravity contained messages. Professor Rowan smiled. We believe the universe has been transmitting the same signal since before the first galaxy existed. No civilization noticed, because everyone was listening for words. The hologram zoomed toward the center of the Milky Way. Invisible lines appeared, connecting pulsars, black holes, neutron stars. Every major cosmic object formed one impossible symbol. Not random, perfectly organized. Commander Vale whispered, it was never a map. Dr. Mira Hassan finished the sentence. It was an invitation. Suddenly, every human ship received a new transmission. No sound, no language, only coordinates, unknown, outside every known galactic chart. Navigation computers instantly rejected them. Destination does not exist yet. Project Aegis immediately accepted them. A second message appeared. Course verified. Bridge officers stared in disbelief. The coordinates were impossible, yet humanity's oldest military protocol already knew where they were. Commander Vale slowly smiled. So, it finally called. A young navigator looked confused. Sir, you've known about these coordinates? Vale nodded. Since before I was born. The destination was built into Project Aegis. 5 centuries ago. The bridge fell silent. By who? Vale answered with complete certainty. By someone who had never been there. Across 17 dying star systems. The darkness finally spoke again. This time, its voice wasn't calm. It sounded curious. Why did your creator leave you the path? Commander Vale looked directly into the main camera. He answered without hesitation. Because he believed someone would eventually ask the right question. Another pause. Then the darkness asked something no civilization had ever imagined. And what is the right question? Vale smiled. Not with confidence. With wonder. Asterisk asterisk. Not, who created the universe? A long silence. Then he finished. The real question is, why did the universe wait for humanity to ask? For the very first time. The ancient Watcher laughed. Not cruelly, not triumphantly, but with unmistakable joy. Across the galaxy, every dying star reignited for a single heartbeat. Because after billions of years, someone had finally asked the question it had been waiting to hear. Across the galaxy, every dying star reignited for a single heartbeat. Because after billions of years, someone had finally asked the question the universe had been waiting to hear. Then, everything went dark. Not because the stars disappeared. Because space itself closed its eyes. Every sensor aboard the human fleet failed simultaneously. Time stopped. Engines stopped. Even thoughts felt slower. Only Commander Adrian Vale remained calm. He quietly whispered, so this is what Professor Rowan warned us about. Doctor. Mira looked at him. You knew this would happen. Vale nodded. Not exactly, but he called it the conversation. The darkness surrounding the fleet slowly dissolved. In its place appeared something no human language could truly describe. An endless ocean, made entirely of galaxies. Each wave contained billions of stars. Each ripple created new universes. Each breath reshaped reality. The crew wasn't looking at space anymore. They were looking at existence itself. At the center of the impossible ocean, a single figure appeared, not enormous, not terrifying, simply peaceful. It looked different to every observer. Commander Vale saw Professor Rowan. Dr. Mira saw her late father. Ambassador Elena saw her childhood teacher. Every individual saw the one person who had inspired them to keep asking questions. The being smiled. Now you understand why no language could ever describe me. Commander Vale stepped forward. Are you the Watcher? The being gently shook its head. No. A pause. The Watcher was only the invitation. Another pause. Longer this time. I am the listener. Silence spread through the fleet. Doctor. Mira finally asked. Listener. The being nodded. Every intelligent civilization asks questions. Most ask for power. Some ask for immortality. Many ask how to conquer the stars. Its eyes settled on humanity. Asterisk asterisk. You were the first to ask why the universe wanted to be understood. Suddenly, the endless ocean transformed. The crew witnessed countless civilizations. Some brilliant, some ancient, some unimaginably advanced. Every one of them had reached this exact moment. Every one had built incredible machines. Every one had unlocked impossible science. Every one had been asked the same final question. What will you do with complete knowledge? One by one, they all answered. We will rule. We will perfect reality. We will eliminate suffering forever. We will become gods. The moment each answer was spoken, their universes slowly faded, not as punishment, as consequence, because certainty ended curiosity, and curiosity was the force that kept reality growing. The listener turned back toward humanity. In your answer, no one on the bridge spoke. Commander Vale slowly looked at every member of his crew. Scientists, engineers, pilots, doctors, ordinary people. Finally, he smiled. We don't want every answer. A pause. We only want the next question. For the first time since the birth of existence, the listener closed its eyes. Almost as if relieved. Across the infinite ocean, new galaxies ignited, new stars were born, new universes unfolded like flowers opening to sunlight. The listener raised one hand. A single point of golden light floated toward humanity. Not a weapon, not unlimited knowledge, a compass. Commander Vale caught it carefully. What does it point to? The listener answered with a smile. Where curiosity is needed most. In the same instant, every human ship returned to normal space. The darkness was gone. The dying sectors had been restored. The vanished civilizations had returned. Not because humanity had defeated an enemy, but because they had passed a test that no civilization before them ever had. Months later, the Galactic Senate unanimously voted to place humanity at the head of every military alliance. Commander Vale respectfully declined. We've already spent 500 years proving something. The Chancellor asked, what was that? Vale looked toward the stars. The future of the galaxy will never be decided by the strongest fleet. He paused, but by the civilization that never stops asking better questions. Instead, humanity proposed something unprecedented. The Galactic Institute of Curiosity. Not an army, not an empire. A place where every species could explore, discover, and learn together. The vote passed unanimously. Centuries later, children from thousands of worlds would ask their teachers, who saved the galaxy? Their teachers always smiled before answering. No one. The galaxy was saved the moment humanity chose curiosity over control. And from that day forward, every new expedition that crossed into the unknown carried the same inscription on its hull. The universe does not belong to those who seek to own it. A final pause. Quote. It belongs to those who never stop wondering. The end. Thanks for watching. If you love epic sci-fi stories, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to HFY Sci-Fi for more unforgettable adventures across the galaxy. See you in the next story.